Hi Nomads, it's Tanya. Well, I have taken an emergency adventure upstate to Peekskill, New York. And the reason I took this emergency adventure is because I found out last night that there could possibly be visible aurora borealis or northern lights as low as New York State. And usually you can't really see aurora borealis this low south. Usually you have to be really high up in latitude. Usually Iceland is a good place to see it, but sometimes things are just so active you can see it very low. So I found a map online that shows light pollution over the US based on NASA satellite data, and I found the areas around New York City that had the least amount of light pollution, that were still close enough to the city where I could take public transportation to get there. And I settled on Peekskill because it's about an hour train ride north on the Metro North train, and I left in the middle of the afternoon, which is off-peak time, so there was only about 2 people in my train car, which is great because I'm still very afraid of coronavirus. And I picked this place also because there's a hotel within walking distance of the train station where I could get a room with a balcony for $12 more a night to give a total of about $100 a night, so that I could set myself up in my big puffy coat outside and possibly see on this big hill that I'm on any aurora borealis. So I'm crossing my fingers that it happens, and if it doesn't, I'm really enjoying the view from here. I really rushed to plan this trip. It was all done in one night, but I was still able to pack a bunch of microwavable food that I had at home, you know, things I buy in the hopes that I might have an adventure. I just made some mac and cheese. I boiled the pasta in the microwave and added the cheese sauce. And I have some more cookies and stuff, so hopefully I won't have to worry too much about finding food and exposing myself to coronavirus. So the sun went down about a half hour ago, and now we start the process of twilight. There are actually 3 parts of twilight. There's civil twilight, so it's still light enough to see around town. There's nautical twilight, where it's still light enough to see if you're at sea, and then astronomical twilight, where it's still light enough to where you can't really see any stars or aurora borealis in this case. So for the next hour and a half, we're still going to be in those phases of twilight, and by 6:30, I'm hoping the stars will align, metaphorically speaking, so that we might see something. It's about 8:30 now, and I'm getting pretty tired, and all the places I look for predictions of aurora borealis seem to indicate that I'm not going to see anything here tonight. People in the very northern part of the US, like Maine, might see something, but the geomagnetic storm they were predicting just isn't really working out to be as big as they expected. So I'm probably going to go to bed soon and try to wake up early and explore Peekskill a little. It's pretty beautiful, and I think getting up with the sun will give me a lot of opportunity to explore safely. So trip's not over. I'm still glad I came out because there's a lot of beautiful things to see. So good night for now. See you tomorrow. Good morning, Nomads. I'm just enjoying this morning view with my coffee. When I packed for this trip, I packed super fast, and I knew they'd have a microwave, but I wasn't sure if I should bring a mug or not, because I thought, oh, sometimes they have paper cups in hotels. Well, they didn't. All I brought was a bowl, so I'm drinking my coffee out of a bowl. But it works. Better than nothing. explore this morning, and I've come down to the Hudson Riverfront where there's a park here with all these very cool, interesting statues. And the view is amazing. The sun is shining. It's chilly and there's frost on the grass, but it's really picturesque and there's not too many people, which is always a plus. So this spiky helmet, it looks like a helmet to me. At first I just thought, oh, it's a spiky helmet, but it's actually, the inside has a bunch of kaleidoscopes. Each one of these little white tubes is a kaleidoscope. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And there's little coins from different countries inside as well, but the kaleidoscopes are what I like the best. So I was following this path the other way, pretty far south, and I think it continues for a while, but I don't think there's any good path back to the Peekskill main city if you keep going that way. So I'm headed back. I think all the interesting stuff is near the main town, so I'm gonna go a little bit north, and then I'm gonna explore some natural area that's further south in Peekskill. These mountains on the water are just gorgeous, and I keep looking at them and thinking, man, what's the difference between what I'm looking at and a fjord? Because as far as I know, a fjord is just a Nordic water passage between two mountains, and this is Nordic. I think that's the only thing that makes it not a fjord, but if someone knows, please tell me in the comments below, because this looks like a fjord to me. Wow, this is a particularly interesting piece of art because during the spring months there's water in it that makes it go up and down, and I bet it looks really neat, but since it's winter the water's drained and it's just stationary, but it's still really cool. I would like to see what it looks like when it's moving. The northern part of the path does have a distinctive end to it. It goes in a loop and has one last piece of art, which is this orange ball. So I have walked further inland to the Depew Park, which is sort of on the northern part of the Blue Mountain Reservation. It's a natural area with a bunch of different trails. It seems huge. I can't do all of it, but I can at least check out what there is around here. These geese are really impressive because although the lake is semi-frozen on top, they're still swimming in there, and I even saw one struggling in the ice. It's like, what? I'm so curious what these little red fruits are. I'm sure they're poisonous, but still, they're really beautiful. Very Christmassy. Speaking of Christmassy, someone decorated this little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It's so adorable. pretty successful trip. Even though I didn't get to see the aurora borealis, I had a really great time watching sunset over the New York fjords and walking along the Hudson riverfront and exploring the woods. I would consider this a successful trip. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more socially distant content from me, I have more to come, so please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when new videos are available. Until next time, bye!